Well, I think this might be the first time I've delivered a homily in a bathrobe, but I suppose it's not all that different from a minister's robe and stole. So, if you will indulge me, I meant to get to this earlier today, and it didn't happen. I took advantage of the nice weather outside to do some yard work. Anyway, this week we're talking about our fourth principle, which is a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. I think it's probably my favorite principle if I had to pick one. Certainly at the heart of why I am a Unitarian Universalist as opposed to some other denomination or religion. One of the criticisms of our denomination is when we talk about what we believe, people can respond with, oh, well, you can believe whatever you want to. That's convenient, that's easy. And yes and no. Because the truth is, in Unitarian Universalism, you can believe whatever you want to. I often describe my home congregation as a mix of traditional Christians, some Buddhists, at least one Taoist, an atheist, some agnostics, many people, kind of an eclectic view of different religious perspectives. And people sometimes hear me describe that and they think, well, how does that work? And the truth is, we have no set creed. We don't have a specific statement of faith or belief. We instead turn that around and believe that it is up to the individual to come up with their, idea of what is true and what they put their faith in, what they believe. And again, if you stop there, you think, well, that's easy. You can believe whatever you want. How hard can that be? But there's a flip side to it. And the flip side is you have to be responsible for what you believe. So it's not enough to just believe, you have to be responsible for it. So if my sense of religion, whether it's a Christian perspective, a Jewish perspective, a Muslim perspective, a Buddhist perspective, a humanist perspective, if those things inspire me to act a certain way, then I am responsible for doing that. For example, if I'm going to adhere to the idea of loving my neighbor as myself, it's kind of empty, and those are empty words, if I don't try to practice what I believe. If I'm an atheist and I believe that the good in the world comes from within humanity and we don't need a supreme being to give us any sort of moral guidance, that's all well and good, but I have to be responsible for that. I have to live that good life and live that sense of morality that doesn't require some sort of divine inspiration. So there are many ways of looking at it, and people may think, well, how does that possibly work? As I alluded to before. And this is the example that I would give you. Think about your favorite color, or your favorite meal, or your favorite movie, or your favorite song. think of your favorites. Have those been your favorites for as long as you can remember, throughout your entire life? Or have they changed based on new exposure, new information, new ideas, new ways of thinking? Chances are they have changed, either minutely or gradually over time or in big ways. That's sort of how our fourth principle works. In Unitarian Universalism, we don't stand up and say, this is the truth. And in order to come here and worship here or attend here, to be part of this community, you need to subscribe to these beliefs. We don't claim to have, all the answers. We don't even know all the questions. And we acknowledge that. But we support each other in that search for truth and meaning and the responsibility of what we do as we find it. Those of you who know me know that I love a good quote, and I'd like to end with a couple of them. The first is from Bishop John Shelby Spong. He's a progressive Episcopal priest. And he says that God is not a Christian, God is not a Jew, or a Muslim, or a Hindu, or a Buddhist. All of those are human systems which human beings have created to try to help us walk into the mystery of God. I honor my tradition. I walk through my tradition. But I don't think my tradition defines God. I think it only points me to God. And the second quote is by the German-American psychologist and author Erich Fromm. And he said that people never think their way into new ways of acting. They always act their way into new ways of thinking. some food for thought on our fourth principle.